turn now to Carl Szabo, who's Vice President and General Counsel of NetChoice, also Professor of Internet Law at George Mason University. Carl, thanks for joining. Perhaps you'd sum up 2023 in AI regulation for us and maybe set the stage for what might happen in 2024.
Yeah, thanks for having me. 2023 was a big year for tech. I mean, look at the Magnificent Seven. But 2024 is when the promises become real. We've heard every CEO, whether it's Carnival Cruise Line to Apple to Facebook, talk about AI and make these outlandish claims. Well, now in 2024, we're going to finally see those claims become reality. We're starting to see artificial intelligence finally be integrated into Office Suite solutions. So on Microsoft or Google Cloud Services, we're going to start to see AI Copilot become live and help us write better, create better, and do our economic analysis better. But it doesn't stop there. We're starting to see artificial intelligence be injected into things like healthcare to figure out better ways to optimize finances, to create better medical treatment, or something as simple as transcribing notes for a doctor so they spend more time talking to patients and less time looking into computers. And then, of course, the legal space, where I am, is going to be heavily disrupted by AI for the better. We're going to be able to put law students to work out of law school, actually writing briefs rather than spending time doing discovery and poring over court documents, because we can use artificial intelligence to offset that. So 2024 is when the promises of AI become reality. And a decade from now, we're going to look back on our daily use of AI and wonder, how did we live without it? Much in the same way we look back now as to how did we live with life before the internet.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of promises, but there's also the promise or a threat, depending on how you look at it, of regulation. What happens regulatory-wise in Washington, D.C. next year?
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm keeping a close eye on, and we're keeping a close eye at NetChoice on every single day. So let's be crystal clear. The artificial intelligence is heavily regulated today. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of laws that apply to artificial intelligence right now. And that's because the way the United States has always done laws and law enforcement. We don't outlaw technology or devices. We outlaw bad actions. So if you use AI to commit fraud, if you use AI to commit harassment, we have laws today that apply to artificial intelligence. It's fraud and harassment. But unfortunately, there are many in D.C. that are looking to regulate, that are looking to create laws or new federal agencies to create new regulatory red tape for artificial intelligence. And this is being led by a lot of the fears surrounding artificial intelligence. I think, fortunately, we are starting to move past this whole notion that AI is the Terminator or AI is Skynet. And we're starting to finally begin to realize that AI is just a tool. But unfortunately, there are many in Europe, there are many in D.C. that are looking to create rules to regulate artificial intelligence rather than looking to enforce the existing laws that we already have today. What does that mean for businesses?
On that note, too, I mean, this idea that there are waning fears about it, we did see tons of strikes this year that invoked the idea of AI and the disruption that it has to certain industries. What about just even plainly the job market, let alone any potential ethical concerns around the use of AI?
Yeah, every time there's a new technology, we always hear concerns about jobs or loss of jobs therein. You roll back 100 years ago when the camera came around. We were worried that it was going to eliminate the jobs of artists. Well, artists are still around today, and in fact, cameras have created a whole new profession called professional photography. The same is true with the combine in farms, and the same thing will be true with artificial intelligence. Will jobs be changed? Absolutely. But new jobs will be created because I'm not a good artist, but artificial intelligence can actually help me create the types of images that I want to use in my tweets, in my blogs, and in my writings. So that's the way artificial intelligence is actually going to empower many of us to be more creative and to actually create new jobs. So will jobs change? Absolutely. But we're not going to eliminate radiologists. But if you're a radiologist who doesn't understand how to use artificial intelligence, then you're going to be in trouble. So what we need to do is recognize it's a new tool and begin teaching how to use AI in schools,
Right.
how to use AI in medical schools.
That all makes sense. However, there is also a sense here that most of the major industries in the United States have grown under the weight of some regulation with some guardrails. And the ones that have not, say the banking industry, for example, ended up failing for a hot minute there. And so when you think about the regulation of AI moving forward, how do you make sure that it's regulated, but also in a way that can grow the industry responsibly so that it is a net positive for the economy?
Yeah, that's something we're also looking at NetChoice on a daily basis. What we are seeing is actually a lack of enforcement. And if we get enforcement of our existing laws as they apply to artificial intelligence, that will send a clear message to the industry that you can't just hide behind a computer and pretend that you're not committing a crime. Let's use a simple example of Sam Bankman-Fried, right? He was sent to prison not because he used Bitcoin, but because he committed fraud. And that sent a clear message to the entire Bitcoin universe that you cannot engage in fraud via Bitcoin and hope to escape justice. The same message needs to be sent crystal clear to the artificial intelligence industry. If you're using AI to engage in illegal discrimination, that's a crime and it should be prosecuted. We don't need new laws. We need better law enforcement. And that's how you create the guardrails, is by making it crystal clear to anyone using or developing artificial intelligence that just because it's new doesn't mean it's unregulated. And that's the solution that we're encouraging across the board. More law enforcement, less government regulation. Because one of the things that does concern me is we're seeing a lot of lobbyists flock to D.C. to try and make sure that their company is allowed to prosper at the expense of other companies. And that's really scary because that's actually going to create less innovation and it's going to give less of an opportunity for that next great piece of technology in artificial intelligence to come into fruition.
Carl, thank you so much. That is Carl Szabo of George Mason University and also NetChoice. Meanwhile, a little bit of trouble ahead for Tesla potentially, or at least something interesting. IT security researchers from Berlin Technical University say they've gained access to Tesla's autopilot system. Now, this is according to the German newspaper Der Spiegel. These researchers are saying it's